Hey there, and welcome back to Swept Media here at the convergence of AI and Web3. Today, I want to talk about the vast overabundance of block space we have now, and more importantly, maybe the lack of applications, the lack of use cases for all this block space. There's a whole lot of empty space out there, and nobody's doing anything with it. Maybe a more apt way of describing it is there's a whole lot of fields, empty fields, grass fields there, and nobody's playing any games on it. And where people are playing games, even just the people watching, they're not interested in building any new games. They just want to stay there. They're comfortable there. That's where their friends are. Uh, Now, this does have an implication for AI, although this argument is going to be entirely focused on Web3. But since we're here at the convergence of AI and Web3, it's all connected. I will be mentioning one or two AI based networks in this video to, I guess, tie things back into the context of Swept Media. But the issue here is that if you are building a layer one blockchain, if you're a founder of a layer one blockchain in 2025, and you cannot answer the most important question, which will come up, which is why don't you just build an L2 on Ethereum? Or maybe why don't you just build an app on Ethereum or Solana that tackles this issue that you're trying to solve? If you don't have an answer for that, you are not going to make it. You have zero chance of making it. And by making it, I mean having anybody use your network and being able to increase the value of your network. Now, there are the max extractors out there who may just be straight up scammers. They know exactly what they're doing and they're just there to get their TGE and exit their positions and then do whatever happens with their network is an afterthought. Then there are the people who think that they are solving something, that this is an interesting use case for whatever it is that they're trying to solve. But they kind of half-ass it, or they know that it's probably not going to go anywhere, but at least they can still get their TGE out of it. So there's those two cohorts that are probably not all that desirable to have around, but which there are a lot in Web3. I know firsthand. I would think that there are more scammers because it's easier, more cut and dry to identify them. But I think that there are actually more people who don't intend to do bad to people, but who just kind of fall into it because of the nature of this industry. Now to the point, or maybe back to the point. There's so much block space. Who needs it? When was the last time you spent more than like $10 on Ethereum for anything? Years ago, right? It was years ago. Every time you execute a transaction, if it's broadcast to the network correctly, it's going to go through. It's not going to drop the transaction, which still happens on Solana because it moves so quickly. You have to use a bot to trade in many cases. When was the last time you paid more than $10? It's been a long, long time. You probably don't remember the last time you did it. So what are people not using Ethereum for? Why are they not building L2s? Even Robinhood, even these enterprise, like prestige enterprisey kind of operators in this space, they are using Ethereum's technology. They're using Ethereum's consensus and its virtual machine. That should tell you something. They're not stupid. Yes, they're incredibly slow. And maybe they don't understand everything right off the bat, but they're not going to deploy something for the most part, especially someone like Robinhood who's been doing this for so long. They're not going to deploy a whole network on Ethereum as an Ethereum L2 unless they've done a lot of research on it. I mean, come on now. Think about all the networks that are, all the L1s that are being launched. We got Hyper EVM, and now I'll give Hyper a pass. I think that there's actually a lot of stuff being built on Hyper. The jury's still out. But I'll give them a pass for now, an honorable mention. Perfect example is Monad. When is it going to launch? And when it launches, who's even going to bother using it? Story Protocol, the IP chain that ruffled a lot of feathers and has been ruffling feathers for years. I mean, story is something from many years ago. That's when the founder got started with it. Now it's live on mainnet. It's supposed to be the intellectual property management and monetization chain. Nobody's using it. Although interestingly, they do have an AI agent as a validator. That's pretty cool. Barachain, purpose-built meme chain, abstract, same thing, and nobody's using it. I don't want to make it seem like these blockchains are useless, or there's no point in them being built, or that they shouldn't have been built at all. Purpose-built chains have a purpose. They've been built for that purpose. But the founders need to be able to answer why they're not just using Ethereum. Why are they wasting so much money? Why are you wasting $300 million on the build and the runway, the maintenance, after the build is done for something that could be done on Ethereum? What is abstract even for? What is it doing that is different? Could it have been built as an multi-chain, decentralized app, a DApp? Could it have been done like that? Could it have been launched as an L2? Could it have been launched as multiple L2s, which, by my estimation, building an L2 on Ethereum and an L2 on Solana is going to be cheaper than building your own L1, that then people have to find the right language and the token standard for when they want to bridge to it. They have to get a whole new wallet. They need to get all this other stuff just to use a layer 1 when they could have just used Ethereum. Now again, I don't know the answer for why they didn't choose to use Ethereum. I have my theories, but it's only speculation, and that is totally irrelevant. But if the founders don't have a reason for it, that is a problem. That's when you get potentially a $300 million network with a $29 million TVL months after it has launched. Months and months, despite all the hype. You have Canton. This one's a mixing public and privacy type of network. Days after the Ethereum Foundation said they're going to be focusing a lot on ZK technology to improve the privacy, which is something that they could always have done on Ethereum, but they were busy working on scaling with L2s. So now you're going to have this Canton thing trying to do what Ethereum is now going to be doing. So why didn't they just build it on Ethereum in the first place? Are they just max extracting? Is that what it is? I don't know. But next example would be 0G. This is a data chain that is designed to give its users or the people developing apps on it their own dedicated space on chain, basically their own dedicated database or storage space where they can create a curated database with it and then use the network's very, very fast ability to transfer that data on chain for AI agents to use at their whim or however they like. Why didn't they just build that as an app or as an L2 on Ethereum? I don't know. Maybe it's just easier to do it for something as complicated as what 0G says they're building. Maybe an L1 just makes more sense. But again, I don't know. I've actually met 0G, the team, twice. Or I should say I was supposed to have met them twice, but they didn't show up. One time it was their own meetup, they didn't show up, which was kind of disappointing. I think I might have made a video about that when I was supposed to go meet them, but they didn't come to their own thing. But I don't know. Are they? If I were to ask them, would they answer it? I've asked this to a few founders already on Swept Spaces. If you come to the Swept Spaces on Wednesdays, you'll hear me ask this to the founders. If I have a founder on the show, I'm going to ask them this. Why shouldn't people just use Ethereum? Seems to be the question of the day, the question of the year, maybe the question of this whole era. At the end of the day, when you have Ethereum, when you have Solana, when you have even BNB Chain. BNB Chain has been around for, 7 years now on mainnet? It runs really well. Granted, there are issues. I'm not really interested in hashing out what those issues are with BNB Chain, but it works. The point is that it works. And you can run a DApp on it. It'll be cheap. You'll get a lot of users because I don't know if you've seen their TVL lately and the market cap of BNB coin. It's great. It's very, very healthy. It's a very healthy ecosystem. So why aren't people building stuff there? Why do they have to have their own block space? This isn't the days of spending $600 on yeeting your entire stack into a food coin liquidity pool that's going to give you 20 million% APY. And then you have to get out 10 minutes later because the APY crashes and you have to sell your coins. It's not like that anymore. It's just not. Things work so much better on Ethereum now than they ever have. And people trying to. Let me backtrack a little bit. I think what's happening is that the L1s that are launching now were seeded by that issue. They were seeded in the minds of the founders by them experiencing this bottleneck in Ethereum and going, I can do better. Okay. It makes perfect sense that you would have done that. But when do you cut your losses and say, okay, it's 2023, Ethereum gas is really low and things are working well. It's 2024, gas has been in like the cents, sub $1 for a very long time. Now it's 2025, it's fast, there's tons of L2s, and it's just going to get better from here. When do you say this is not going to work to yourself? Or is it that they've already raised so much money that they can't go back now? Could be that is part of it as well. But at any rate, I think this is a question that needs to be asked of a lot more founders of L1s these days. So I'll be around to ask it. Stick around and stay tuned. See you next time.